I'm still scanning the area as much as I can with the thermals while trying to also juggle my flashlight so that I could get through this terrain. And all of a sudden, it suddenly disappears.
Russell Acord from Expedition Bigfoot just broke the news that could rewrite everything we thought we knew about the legend because the hunt just got more realistic. Join us as we uncover this startling mystery. Russell Acord's recent information. Russell Acord is making headlines as the on-the-ground lead of the Expedition Bigfoot project, which is being treated less like a TV stunt and more like a serious wilderness investigation. According to local reporting out of Central Oregon, Acord spent nearly a month deep in the woods, laying traps, monitoring equipment, and following leads on the elusive creature long dismissed by mainstream science. During this stretch of fieldwork, Acord's team deployed thermal imaging, sound sensors, and expedition shelter camps in rugged terrain. Their goal wasn't just to film for entertainment, but to gather data that could stand up to scrutiny and to document footprints, broken branch patterns, and other anomalies in remote forest zones. Public records and press coverage show that this methodology sets the team apart from past Bigfoot hunts because they're combining wilderness survival skills with systematic data collection. One of the most talked about moments came when the equipment picked up unexpected heat signatures near a remote water source at night, signatures that did not match any conventional animal known to frequent the region. Acord's team then followed up with physical searches and collected footprints measuring more than 16 inches long, events covered by the local media. While some remain skeptical of the entire Bigfoot concept, Acord's approach appears to be shifting the conversation. Rather than mere folklore, the hunt is framed as an expedition into unknown terrain with measurable objectives, rigorous protocols, and real-world risks. Acord told reporters he doesn't expect to prove Bigfoot overnight, but rather to expand the viewer's understanding of what may still roam at the forgotten corners of the wild. So keep watching to understand better. The search for Bigfoot. On a moonless night, deep within the wilderness, Russell Acord ventured into the unknown, driven by curiosity, courage, and the relentless pursuit of truth. What began as a search for evidence of a hidden creature soon became a chilling encounter that tested the limits of human resolve. Amidst the shadows and echoing footsteps, an unearthly presence stirred, blurring the line between myth and reality. This is not just the story of Bigfoot, it's a cinematic journey into fear, faith, and the mysteries that roam our untamed world. Maria Mayer's involvement in Expedition Bigfoot marked a pivotal moment. The show wasn't just about chasing legends, it became a serious attempt to bring scientific rigor to one of the most enduring mysteries of the natural world. With credentials that include a PhD in anthropology and primatology and a past as a wildlife correspondent for National Geographic, Mayer brought to the team a deep background in field research and a reputation for disciplined investigation. From the moment she signed on, she made it clear that she wasn't joining for fame or for sensational thrills. She came to stay open-minded, yet skeptical, to let the data lead, and to apply methods grounded in scientific inquiry. On the show, Mayer explained that her early impression of the search was cautious. Rather than dive in with assumptions, she promised herself to approach each expedition with curiosity and caution. She emphasized the importance of using repeatable methods and documented evidence over hearsay and hype. That approach changed the tone of the mission. What might have once been dismissed as folklore shifted towards something like a research project, experiments in the wild, with hypotheses, controls, data collection, and analysis. Earlier seasons of Expedition Bigfoot deployed teams of specialists into the remote woods of North America, including zones in Oregon, Washington, and beyond, where reports of large, elusive primate-like creatures have persisted. In one production press release, it was described how the team integrated technological tools, thermal imaging, environmental sensors, sound recording arrays, and combined these with traditional tracking knowledge to narrow their search zones. Mayer's scientific stance allowed her to ask the right questions. What would constitute genuine evidence of an unknown primate? How could one distinguish stray sightings from data worthy of scrutiny? In her interview, she confessed that although she did not begin as a Bigfoot believer, the footage and field results she reviewed began raising questions she couldn't easily dismiss. For example, thermal video capture and expert review by independent primatologists left her baffled at how inadequately existing frameworks could explain some of the field recordings. Her participation gave Expedition Bigfoot a strong anchor in the academic world, helping the show move beyond the usual adventure documentary model. Viewers learned that each night of waiting, each sensor set in the forest, each footprint cast or sound recording could be treated as part of a research protocol. The presence of a credentialed scientist helped frame the search as more than just chasing a cryptid. It was exploration at the fringes of biological science. That said, the show did not shy away from drama. Episodes featured intense stakeouts in deep wilderness, long hikes into harsh terrain, and moments where the unknown felt close at hand. But through it all, Mayer reiterated that the mission wasn't about proving the creature existed at any cost. It was about investigating the possibility, collecting verifiable data, and letting the results guide the conclusion. Expedition Bigfoot thus became a hybrid of sorts, part wilderness survival, part science documentary, part mystery chase. With Mayer's steady analytic lens, the crew still embraced adventure, yet remained rooted in a respect for method. And the mission expanded. They weren't simply trying to find Bigfoot, they were pushing into the unknown, asking whether North America might harbor a primate species outside the scope of mainstream zoology. In short, what started as a curious side project evolved into a serious exploration, thanks in part to Mireya Mayer's involvement. Her presence helped the team frame the hunt not as a whimsical quest for mythical beasts, but as a challenge to science and our understanding of what still may live beyond human sight in the wild. Now, here's the most interesting part that everyone least expected. The hunt that surprised everyone. During one of their forest journeys, Mireya and Bryce came across something strange that stopped them in their tracks. It was a huge structure made entirely of tree trunks, rising almost 15 feet high. It wasn't just a messy pile of fallen wood. The way the logs were stacked looked far too neat, almost like someone, or something, had built it on purpose. Some of the logs were over 200 pounds. It seemed impossible for an ordinary animal to move them. The team stood there in silence, staring at the formation, the forest suddenly quieter than usual, as if holding its breath. Mireya walked slowly around the base, running her hand over the bark, noting how fresh some of the cuts were. Bryce grabbed his camera, circling the structure for angles, muttering about how even seasoned loggers would struggle to lift a few of those trunks without machinery. There were no tire tracks, no footprints, and no claw marks, just the strange, deliberate order of the wood. It wasn't weather damage. It wasn't a beaver dam. Something intelligent seemed to have done this. The deeper they looked, the more unsettling it became. Could this be the evidence they'd been searching for all along? Proof that the legendary creature had not only passed through these woods, but had built something within them? Team Expedition Bigfoot, led by Russell Acord, had placed sensors around the area to pick up ground movement, but nothing was triggered. That made Mireya wonder if whatever was behind this might actually know how to stay unseen. Bryce was thrilled and full of excitement, convinced they might have stumbled upon a Bigfoot shelter. Mireya, on the other hand, stayed calm and thoughtful, choosing to focus on collecting proper samples rather than jumping to conclusions. When they looked closer, the team realized how carefully the structure was made. The logs seemed almost woven together, fitting in ways that couldn't have happened by accident. It must have taken incredible power and effort to build something like that. The discovery set off lively debates among the group. Could any known animal have done this? Or were they finally seeing signs of something completely unknown? As they continued their work, the forest grew eerily quiet. They collected strands of hair, heard strange noises echoing through the trees, and even caught a strong, unpleasant smell that hinted at something out there, something they couldn't quite explain but would never forget. This wasn't the first of Russell's daring adventure, and it promised not to be the last. Not when the mystery was still undiscovered. On another expedition, Russell's camera caught something that sent shockwaves through the crew. As he scanned the area, he spotted a tall, dark figure covered in fur standing upright before slowly walking away. It didn't move like a bear, and it definitely wasn't a human. Its stride, balance, and posture were completely different from anything they had ever seen. The team replayed the footage again and again, excitement filling the air. Could this be the proof they had been waiting for? Then came the twist that deepened the mystery even more. Lab tests on samples collected from the strange tree structure revealed traces of primate DNA, chimpanzees to be specific. But that made no sense since chimpanzees don't live anywhere near that region. The results opened up more questions than answers. Was this evidence of a hidden species, or was there another explanation? While the team buzzed with excitement, Mireya's calm, scientific nature kept everyone grounded. She reminded them that true discovery must be backed by undeniable proof. Until then, the mystery of the creature remained unsolved, unlike the struggles that everyone noticed at the first instance. The struggles faced by the team, the shaky videos and strange DNA results were exciting, but they didn't prove anything for sure. Still, the clues suggested that something truly unusual might be hiding somewhere deep in the wild. For Russell and the Expedition Bigfoot team, this adventure was about more than chasing a legend. It became a bold dive into the unknown, where science met curiosity and courage. They used every bit of skill, technology, and determination they had, following the mystery through thick forests and endless nights. Each discovery, no matter how small, pulled them closer to answers that people had dreamed about for generations. Whether or not they ever uncovered solid proof, their journey had already become something special, a story about bravery, curiosity, and the unshakable human desire to explore what lies beyond the edge of the known world. One of the most gripping moments of the entire mission happened when Russell decided to head into one of the thickest parts of the forest alone, hoping to lure the mysterious creature closer. The rest of the team watched anxiously as he vanished into the darkness, keeping in touch only through their radios. The forest around him seemed to come alive. Then, in an instant, everything changed. A huge dark shape moved swiftly between the trees, racing straight toward Russell. The team shouted warnings through the radio, panic rising in their voices. But by the time he turned around, the shadow had vanished, leaving behind only silence and a pounding heartbeat. The Expedition Bigfoot team never lost their drive, no matter how tough things got. Each person brought something special to the mission, a mix of scientific skill, courage, and raw curiosity that made them unstoppable. Their goal was never just to find Bigfoot. It was to test the limits of discovery itself and challenge what people believed about the hidden corners of nature. Whether they were chasing the unknown or being chased by it, the journey became an adventure that pushed them to their very edge. They endured endless nights with little sleep, long hikes through rough, wild terrain, and heart-stopping moments when fear felt close enough to touch. Through it all, Mireya's calm reasoning balanced Bryce's excitement, while Russell's fearless determination gave everyone the strength to keep moving forward, even when hope seemed to fade. One of their most thrilling discoveries happened during an expedition deep in the Pacific Northwest. There, the team came across a line of enormous footprints, each over 16 inches long and still fresh in the mud. The sight filled them with energy and belief that they were finally closing in on something real. As they followed the trail deeper into the forest, every sound and flicker of movement sent a rush of anticipation through the air. To uncover more clues, the crew began using advanced equipment like infrared and thermal cameras to track any heat signals at night. The technology revealed mysterious shapes, large, upright figures moving quietly among the trees. The images weren't clear enough to prove anything, but they added one more fascinating piece to the growing puzzle. In their search for answers, the team also turned to the local indigenous communities, whose people had passed down stories of large, hair-covered beings roaming the forests for generations. These tales couldn't count as scientific evidence, but they offered cultural depth and meaning to the team's work, reminding them that the legend of Bigfoot wasn't just a mystery. It was part of a much older story of humankind's connection to the wild. As tree search for the Bigfoot continues, Russell Acord's relentless quest for the truth, the Expedition Bigfoot team often faced doubt and criticism from those who believed their discoveries were nothing more than mistakes or coincidences. However, the world missed an important point. Their mission wasn't just about finding a creature. It was about understanding the unknown. Each trek into the wilderness pushed them further to test their limits, expand their knowledge, and explore how far human curiosity could reach. For them, the journey itself was the true reward. Every trail they followed, every strange sound or sign they studied, felt like another small step toward unraveling one of the world's oldest mysteries. Even though they never found the final piece of proof, their adventures left a lasting mark. They showed that courage, persistence, and an open mind could bring even the wildest legends into the realm of serious exploration. Whether Bigfoot is ever found or not, their story became a reminder of the power of curiosity and the irresistible pull of the unexplained. Russell Acord had always been drawn to the strange and mysterious since his boyhood. Years later, that same boyhood curiosity had turned into a lifelong quest. Russell was no longer just watching from the sidelines. He was out there with the Expedition Bigfoot team, tracking the very mystery that had captivated him for decades. He wasn't the typical adventurer either. The wilderness felt like home to him. He knew how to read every sound, every movement, every shadow in the forest. Still, even for someone as experienced as Russell, the woods could play tricks on the mind. Long nights alone in the darkness, hearing distant rustles or strange cries, could make even the toughest person wonder what was real and what was imagination. Sometimes the silence stretched for days. He'd trek through endless trees, the forest whispering around him, while Maria, his teammate, reported strange readings from across the lake. Those quiet moments made him think, was Bigfoot truly out there, or was he chasing a childhood dream that would never come true? The doubt was always there, but so was his determination. Then came the moments that reignited his belief. During one expedition, Russell and his team discovered footprints so huge they looked almost unreal, each one over 16 inches long and pressed deep into the earth, as if something incredibly heavy had just passed through. The sight made his pulse race. If these tracks were real, what kind of creature could have made them? And how close had it been? The thrill of discovery mixed with a chill of fear as they photographed and measured every detail. As the team's survival expert, Russell often took on the most dangerous roles, including one that tested every nerve he had, serving as live bait. While the others monitored from a safe distance, he would head out alone into the pitch-black forest, armed only with a camera, his instincts, and an unshakable will. Each time he stepped into the shadows, he knew he was facing the unknown, chasing not just a creature, but the truth behind a lifelong mystery. One night, everything in the forest felt different, eerily alive in a way that made Russell's skin prickle. The air was heavy, thick with tension. He heard twigs snapping somewhere in the dark, followed by slow, deliberate footsteps that didn't match any animal he knew. Then came the smell, strong, foul, and unnatural, filling his chest with dread. Before he could react, he caught sight of it, a large, shadowy figure slipping between the trees. It appeared for only a second, then vanished, leaving behind crushed branches and a chilling silence. That moment stayed with him. It wasn't just a scare. It was a sharp reminder of how much mystery still lingered in the wild and how little humans truly understood about what might be out there. With every discovery, the mystery deepened, but so did the risks and the doubts. The hunt for Bigfoot wasn't an easy path, especially when the world rarely took it seriously. Many called it foolish, a waste of time chasing a legend that didn't exist. But Russell wasn't doing it for fame or validation. He didn't care about the skeptics or their jokes. For him, it was about seeking the truth, following the question that had haunted him since childhood. At conferences, he often met others who'd had strange encounters of their own. They'd share their stories in hushed voices, eyes wide with that same blend of excitement and fear he remembered feeling as a boy. Those moments reminded him why he kept going. Still, the criticism sometimes stung, especially when it came from people on his own team. There was always a tug-of-war between belief and doubt. Russell's approach was careful and grounded. He wanted solid evidence, not wild guesses. That sometimes caused friction with teammates who were quicker to believe, but his discipline kept the mission credible. He knew one reckless claim could destroy years of hard work, and he refused to let that happen. Beyond science, there were moral questions too. The team often found strange tree formations or unexplained heat signatures that looked promising, but Russell was cautious. He didn't believe in disturbing nature or crossing lines in pursuit of answers. Whether Bigfoot existed or not, he felt the forest, and whatever lived in it deserved respect. The mystery, he thought, was sacred, and it should be treated that way. Over time, though, the endless nights, long hikes, and constant tension began to wear him down. The thrill of discovery was still there, but so was exhaustion. The feeling of being so close to something extraordinary, yet never quite touching it, became both his greatest drive and his deepest burden. What once felt like the adventure of a lifetime sometimes grew into something far heavier. The forest, once Russell's place of peace and purpose, could suddenly feel vast and suffocating, its endlessness a humbling reminder of just how small he was in the grand design of nature. Yet even when the weight of it all pressed down, he found the strength to keep moving. The hope of discovering even a single, undeniable piece of proof kept his determination alive and burning. Each expedition into the wild brought its own trials and strange moments. The nights were the hardest, silent, eerie, and endless. The quiet was often broken by sounds he couldn't explain, branches snapping, faint footsteps, or low murmurs that seemed to come from nowhere. Sitting alone in his rough shelters staring into the pitch-black forest, he had plenty of time to think. The solitude made him question everything, his mission, his sanity, even his reason for being out there. But somehow, curiosity always pulled him back from the edge. Nature itself was both his ally and his greatest obstacle. The weather could change without warning. Clear skies turning into violent rain that flooded trails, or sudden snow that erased every footprint before he could study it. Russell's survival skills were tested constantly. He learned to adapt, foraging for food, building sturdy shelters, and braving the cold nights when the forest felt like it might swallow him whole. Each challenge he overcame became its own quiet victory, a reminder of his resilience and unbreakable will. But the hardest battle wasn't physical, it was mental. The endless waiting, the fleeting shadows, the sense of being watched, it all took a toll. Even with his team nearby, Russell often felt an ache of isolation that was hard to describe. The wilderness was breathtaking, yet intimidating, vast, yet claustrophobic. It reminded him that so much of the world still remains hidden, mysterious, and unexplored. Instead of letting that fear defeat him, Russell turned it into focus. The unknown wasn't something to run from, it was something to chase. Outside the forest, the world wasn't always kind. Skeptics dismissed his work, mocking it as fantasy or foolishness. But Russell knew better. He'd spoken with countless locals, hunters, rangers, and families who had lived near those remote woods all their lives. Their stories carried a quiet sincerity. Strange howls at night, giant footprints by rivers, sightings that couldn't be explained away. When Russell pieced these encounters together with his own experiences, they formed a mosaic of mystery too rich to ignore. Through every hardship, every doubt, and every long, lonely night, Russell's drive never faded. To him, the search was more than a hunt. It was a calling. And even in the face of ridicule, he knew that the truth, no matter how elusive, was worth every step into the shadows. As time went on, Russell's journey grew into something far greater than the hunt for Bigfoot. What began as a search for a mysterious creature slowly transformed into a deeper, more personal mission, a quest to explore the unknown and test the edges of human understanding. The wilderness became both his classroom and his mirror, revealing not just secrets of nature, but truths about himself. Each expedition pushed him to confront his own limits, forcing him to dig deeper for courage and endurance than he ever had before. The challenges, the fears, and the long stretches of uncertainty shaped him in ways he hadn't expected. Through it all, he learned patience, the kind that only comes from waiting in silence for something you may never see. He learned the power of teamwork, realizing that true discovery depends on trust and shared purpose. And above all, he discovered the beauty of the chase itself, the excitement of seeking answers to questions that might never be fully solved, yet are always worth asking. So what do you think really built that massive structure? Nature, man, or something unknown? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section. If you want more thrilling discoveries from Expedition Bigfoot and other mysterious encounters, don't forget to like, subscribe, and watch the next video popping up on your screen. See you there.